Hey everyone! Today we're exploring another chilling and disturbing case. If you'd like to support the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay engaged. It really means a lot. I truly appreciate it. Now, take a deep breath and let's dive in. Amber Collins, 34, was more than just a real estate agent. She was a mother of two, a beloved figure in her Charlotte community, and known for her bubbly personality and relentless work ethic. Clients praise her for going the extra mile. Friends describe her as warm, selfless, and devoted. But beneath the picture-perfect surface, Amber's life was far more complicated than anyone knew. She was married to Derek Collins, a former youth pastor turned financial advisor, and they had been together for 10 years. To most, they looked like the perfect couple. But Amber had recently confided in close friends that things had grown cold at home. She suspected Derek was cheating, and she had even spoken to a divorce attorney. What she didn't know was that someone was watching her every move, and they were already planning her final showing. On May 6, 2023, Amber received a call from a new client, a man calling himself James Monroe. He claimed to be moving from Atlanta and had his eye on property in a quiet, secluded neighborhood, 217 Hollow Creek Lane. There was no official listing for the address, but James insisted it was a private sale. Amber, always eager to close a deal, agreed to meet him there at 4:30 p.m. At 4:37 p.m., she texted her assistant, "One last showing today. Shouldn't be long. Looks promising." That was the last anyone ever heard from her. By 8 p.m., her husband reported her missing. By 9 p.m., police found her SUV parked neatly in front of the Hollow Creek house. The house was dark, empty, no furniture, no power, no for sale sign, no James Monroe. But inside, officers discovered something far more disturbing. A faint drag mark on the floor, a coffee mug in the sink, and a powerful chemical smell that could only mean one thing. Someone had cleaned up. Detectives immediately suspected foul play. Amber's phone was turned off just minutes after she entered the house. Her GPS location was wiped. And when police looked up the address, they made a chilling discovery. The home had been foreclosed and vacant for over 4 months. There was no seller, no client, no scheduled viewing. The name James Monroe was fake. The phone number was a burner, and the lockbox key used to access the home wasn't issued by Amber's agency. Someone had lured her there deliberately. As suspicion grew, investigators turned their attention to Amber's husband, Derek. He seemed calm, too calm, and he had no solid alibi for the afternoon she disappeared. But what they discovered next blew the case wide open. 9 months before Amber vanished, Derek had quietly taken out a $1.5 million life insurance policy on her, one that paid out in full, even in the case of disappearance. He had also been having not one, but 2 secret affairs, one with a former church member and the other with Amber's younger sister, Mallory. When questioned, Mallory admitted that Derek had made disturbing comments in recent weeks. He allegedly said, "Amber's been in the way for a long time. Once she's gone, I'll finally be free and rich." Investigators dug deeper, and what they found next changed everything. Inside Derek's locked desk drawer, police found a detailed floor plan, not just of the Hollow Creek property, but 3 other vacant homes in the area, all recently foreclosed, all secluded, all without security systems. Next to the blueprints was a set of fake business cards with the name James Monroe, private buyer. But before police could bring Derek in for formal questioning, he vanished. His phone was off, his office was cleaned out, and when authorities accessed his financials, they saw a $50,000 wire transfer made to an unknown account just 4 days before Amber disappeared. 2 weeks later, a security camera at a remote gas station in Georgia caught a familiar face. Derek Collins. He wasn't alone. He was with a woman in a blonde wig, someone who looked a lot like Amber's sister, Mallory. And in the back seat of their rental car, a duffel bag and what appeared to be a shovel. After surveillance footage captured Derek Collins at a gas station in rural Georgia, U.S. Marshals launched a multi-state manhunt. Investigators confirmed that the woman seen with him was Mallory James, Amber's younger sister, the same sister who had been having a secret affair with him for over a year. Mallory had also abruptly quit her job and withdrawn nearly $12,000 from her savings just 3 days before Amber disappeared. Inside Mallory's apartment, detectives found damning evidence: a fake driver's license under the name Allison Moore, a list of rural motels across Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, and most chilling of all, a journal entry dated April 30th, 1 week before Amber vanished. Derek says once she's gone, we can finally be together. He promised it'll be quick. Just one more showing. As the manhunt expanded, local authorities re-examined the Hollow Creek property, the house Amber was last seen entering. Forensics missed something in their first sweep. Behind a false wall panel in the laundry room, cadaver dogs alerted. When investigators opened it, they found blood-stained carpet padding, traces of female DNA, and what appeared to be drag marks leading toward the basement. But there was no body. It was clear the house had been a kill zone, staged to appear abandoned, cleaned just enough to avoid immediate suspicion. And then came the big break. Inside the panel, lodged in a crevice, was a small diamond earring, identical to the pair Amber had worn in her last Instagram post, just 2 hours before she vanished. With no sign of Derek and Mallory in the city, the FBI followed the money. They uncovered a trail of financial manipulation. Derek had opened 4 bank accounts under aliases, moved Amber's retirement funds into crypto wallets, and even began the early claim process on her life insurance policy, just 48 hours after she was reported missing. One of the accounts had been used to book a cabin under the name Richard Kane in a remote area of North Alabama. When agents stormed the cabin, it was empty, but on the kitchen table sat a half-eaten sandwich, a prepaid flip phone, and a note scribbled on a hotel napkin. Now it was official. Amber's husband and her sister were on the run and coordinated. 2 weeks later, a tip came in from a motel housekeeper in Panama City Beach, Florida. She said a couple checked in under fake names, paying in cash. The woman had blonde hair, but her roots were dark. The man looked like a preacher, but never made eye contact. And on the night they left, she noticed something strange. They carried out 3 bags. One looked like it was leaking. I thought it was trash. But the smell... The motel's dumpster was searched, and what police found inside changed everything. Wrapped in black plastic was a blood-stained real estate sign, with Amber's name still visible beneath the smears. DNA tests confirmed the blood matched Amber's. With mounting evidence, federal authorities formally charged Derek Collins and Mallory James with conspiracy to commit murder, obstruction of justice, and financial fraud. But the most pressing question remained. Where was Amber? Despite all the blood evidence, no body had been found, no confirmed sighting, no recorded death. Then, in a shocking twist, an anonymous call came into the Charlotte Police Department tip line. The voice was shaky. Female. She whispered, "He didn't kill me. Not yet. He's still watching. Please help me." The line went dead, and the number? Untraceable. When that anonymous call came in, detectives scrambled to trace it, but the number pinged off a burner phone using a temporary virtual SIM card, and the signal had bounced off multiple towers, masking the origin. The voice was clearly shaken, clearly female, and it mentioned only 2 chilling words. "He's still watching." That single phrase reignited the case. Was Amber alive? Or was someone pretending to be her, to send investigators in the wrong direction? FBI profilers were brought in to analyze Derek Collins' behavior. This wasn't just a case of greed. This was obsession. They believed Derek may have kept Amber alive, possibly hidden away in a remote property or storage facility. He was a control-driven personality, religious, methodical, and obsessed with power. One profiler stated, "People like Derek don't want to erase their victims. They want to own them, control them, even after death or worse, during captivity." With that chilling theory, investigators began scanning Derek's real estate records. Though his name wasn't on any recent deeds, he had ties to 6 shell companies, one which had purchased a private hunting cabin in the Everglades, Florida, under a fake name. A SWAT team raided the Everglades property at 3:12 a.m. The cabin was fortified with a steel-reinforced door and homemade surveillance cameras. Inside, rope bindings on a bedpost, women's clothing, half-used packs of protein shakes, and a journal with chilling notes like, "She won't stop crying. Had to tie her tighter. Almost slipped. Need to move her again soon." But Amber was not there. The cabin had been abandoned just 2 days earlier. On a table was an old phone, smashed. Next to it, a torn piece of paper that read, "Sorry I called. I don't think I'll make it." It was signed, AC. 2 days later, a video file was emailed to the Charlotte Police Department from a burner account. No subject line, no message, just an attachment labeled watch_me at MOV. In the video, a dimly lit room. Amber, gaunt, shaking, wearing the same clothes from the day she vanished, staring directly into the camera. She speaks softly. "My name is Amber Collins. If you're seeing this, I might already be dead. He said I ruined his life, that I made him feel small. He said this is what I deserve." She breaks down, sobbing, then looks off camera. Suddenly, a man's voice snaps. "Time's up." The video ends. Forensic analysts confirm the footage has no metadata. It had been stripped and sent using an encrypted overseas relay. But one detail stood out: a chirping bird in the background, native only to a very specific stretch of southern Louisiana. Authorities rushed to that region, but Derek Collins and Mallory had vanished again, and the deeper the case went, the more it became clear. This wasn't just a murder-for-money scheme. This was a calculated psychological game, and the final move might still belong to Amber. After analyzing Amber's final video, FBI techs narrowed the location to a specific stretch of swampy land in St. Martin Parish, Louisiana, home to the chirping bird species heard in the background, the northern parula. Combined with satellite imaging, heat signatures, and irregular gas station activity, agents pinpointed a cluster of remote fishing cabins near Bayou Teche. One of them had been rented under the name Richard Kane, Derek's known alias. A tactical team moved in. Agents breached the cabin just before dawn. Inside, they found restraints, a stained mattress, a camera tripod facing a wall, a bag filled with women's clothing, including Amber's red blazer from her last showing, and a small gold bracelet engraved to Mom, Love, J&T, her children's initials. But no Amber, and no Derek. Once again, they were too late. But this time, he left something behind. Under the floorboards, agents found a handwritten manifesto, a disturbing, rant-filled document titled, "The Righteous Man's Burden." Inside, Derek wrote, "They tried to humiliate me. She was never grateful. She had to be purified. They all did. But one day they'll see my pain is divine. And when I'm done, she'll finally understand." He also wrote something more terrifying. Tick-tock. Judgment Day comes July 4th. The raid took place on June 28th. With July 4th just days away, the FBI feared Derek had planned a public execution or final act of violence, possibly timed Independence Day fireworks to cover up the sound. Profiler teams worked around the clock. They predicted Derek wouldn't kill Amber unless he believed he was cornered. He was narcissistic, religiously delusional, and obsessed with control. He wanted an audience, and more than anything, he wanted revenge on the people who took everything from him. That included Amber, law enforcement, and even his own children. That's when agents found out. Mallory had tried to contact the kids through a fake social media account. She wrote, "Daddy says he'll see you real soon. He has something special planned." Knowing Derek wanted control and attention, agents devised a plan. They created a fake news article, planted online, and circulated through fake social media accounts. The headline? Amber Collins declared legally dead. $1.5 million insurance paid to family. It was designed to enrage Derek, to make him feel replaced and forgotten. They expected him to act out, maybe make contact or attempt to correct the narrative. It worked. Just 14 hours later, an email came in from an encrypted server. She's not dead, but she will be. One final lesson. Come find us. Attached was a photo. Amber, chained to a wooden beam, eyes wide, bruised alive, holding up a sign. You have 48 hours. Metadata analysis revealed a geotag. possibly accidental, linking the photo to an abandoned church property in the Atchafalaya Basin. A strike team was mobilized. They were ready. But then an unexpected twist. The photo was doctored. The background was from a years-old real estate listing. A decoy. But the camera used to take the photo? It was traced to a pawn shop in Baton Rouge, sold just 2 days earlier, to a woman using the name Jessica Moore, one of Mallory's aliases. And she used her real car to get there. Law enforcement pulled surveillance footage and finally got what they needed. Derek's car, Amber's face in the window, Mallory at the wheel, and behind them, a green sign reading, "Welcome to Lake Pontchartrain." The surveillance footage from Baton Rouge gave agents their most solid lead yet. Derek, Mallory, and a visibly terrified Amber were spotted in a black SUV near Lake Pontchartrain, Louisiana. The vehicle was a rental, traced to an alias used in previous sightings, Richard Kane. Using traffic cameras and toll booth data, investigators tracked the SUV to a narrow stretch of land just outside Slidell, Louisiana, where old hurricane-damaged houses stood abandoned and forgotten along the waterline. Agents narrowed their search to 5 potential structures that could serve as a hideout. Time was running out. On the morning of July 4th, a boat owner reported something unusual. Someone had seen a woman banging on a window of one of the stilted homes near the lake, before being dragged out of sight by a man. It was the break they needed. SWAT mobilized with boats, choppers, and infrared scanners. At exactly 8:19 p.m., as fireworks exploded across the bayou sky, a perimeter was formed around the structure. Inside, a scream was heard, then a single gunshot, followed by silence. Agents stormed the house. The interior was dark, moldy, and reeking of chemicals. In the main room, they found Mallory James, kneeling in shock. A gun was in her hand, but a bullet had already been fired. And lying on the floor, bleeding from the shoulder, was Amber Collins. She was alive. Mallory dropped the weapon and whispered, "I didn't shoot her. I swear, he did it." He said she had to die before they came. Upstairs, agents found Derek Collins, sprawled across the floor of a closet, a single gunshot wound to the head. A handgun rested beside him. A Bible lay open on his chest, with a note inside. "Forgive me, Father, for failing your test." Amber was rushed to the hospital. She had been shot to the shoulder, but miraculously missed any major organs. She was emaciated, bruised, and sedated, but alive. 4 days later, she gave a harrowing recorded statement to detectives. She said Derek kept her chained for 29 days. He would quote scripture while starving her. Sometimes he cried. Sometimes he beat her. He made her record fake videos, threatening her children if she didn't obey. He told her she had to die pure so he could collect the money and start over with her sister. And Mallory? She had helped tie her down, brought her food, sat with her in silence. Amber recalled, "At one point," Mallory told me, "I didn't mean for it to go this far. But she never let me go. She just watched him break me." Mallory James was arrested and charged with kidnapping, attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, unlawful imprisonment. Public outrage exploded. The betrayal, the affair, the fake house showing. It felt inhuman. Amber's story became national news. She was hailed as a survivor, a woman who had endured the ultimate betrayal at the hands of her own family. But despite the outcome, some questions still remained. Why did Derek truly believe he was chosen? How long had the affair with Mallory really been going on? And most disturbingly, was this really the first time Derek had tried something like this? In the aftermath of Derek's death, agents began combing through the seized contents of burner phones, hard drives, and cloud backups. That's when they found her, a woman named Danielle Whitaker, 28 years old, single mother, former church counselor. She had been having an on-and-off affair with Derek for nearly 3 years, starting back when Amber was pregnant with their second child. Danielle had no idea about Mallory. She had no idea about the life insurance policy, but she did remember something chilling. 2 months before Amber vanished, Derek asked Danielle, "Would you ever leave everything behind? Just disappear with me? No past, no noise, just us." She thought it was romantic. until she saw the news. Danielle came forward voluntarily after seeing Amber's face on a viral news segment. She brought emails, voicemails, and gifts Derek had given her, including an envelope with a return address that led agents to an abandoned rental storage unit in South Carolina. Inside the unit, authorities found women's clothing, not Amber's, a pink children's backpack, an old framed family photo of Danielle and her daughter, and taped to the wall, a map with the words, Plan B, in case Amber fails. This was the moment investigators realized Amber wasn't his only target. In a hidden folder on one of Derek's encrypted drives, agents uncovered a chilling spreadsheet labeled Redemption List. The list included Amber Collins, Mallory James, Danielle Whitaker, 2 other women, including a former youth group member and a single mom from his financial consulting firm. Each name had notations: cooperative, 2 strong-willed, temptation, will break under pressure. The file also included a series of written sermons titled Divine Correction, Pain as Purification, dark, disturbing diatribes about controlling women through suffering in order to return them to grace. It became clear Derek Collins wasn't just a manipulator. He was a religiously delusional predator who would use God, love, and power to justify the systematic grooming of vulnerable women. In the weeks following Amber's rescue, more women came forward with stories of coerced spiritual counseling, financial exploitation, emotional manipulation, sexual abuse masked as deliverance. Each story followed the same arc: a woman in crisis, Derek offering guidance as a former pastor, then isolation, control, threats, and silence. One woman, only 20 at the time, said, "He told me I was broken, that my suffering was holy, and if I told anyone, God would punish me." Amber's case wasn't isolated. It was the one that got far enough to expose the others. From jail, Mallory James requested to speak to Amber. Amber refused, but through her attorney, Mallory released a chilling statement. "I never wanted her dead. I just wanted him to love me. I thought if she was out of the way, maybe I could finally matter. I know how sick that sounds now, but I was under a spell, too." Prosecutors rejected the idea of reduced charges. They believed Mallory wasn't just manipulated, she was complicit, and court filings revealed Mallory received $30,000 in cash from one of Derek's shell companies 3 days before Amber's kidnapping. With Derek dead, attention shifted to Mallory's upcoming trial. Amber is expected to testify in person, and behind closed doors, prosecutors are quietly preparing a second wave of indictments against other individuals who may have helped Derek cover his tracks for years. But one final mystery remains: a second cabin, a second address on Derek's map, one police haven't found yet. And Danielle Whitaker? She says she's still being followed by someone who looks a lot like Derek. 1 month after Amber's rescue, Danielle Whitaker reported something terrifying. She'd moved cities, changed numbers, stayed silent. But someone had left a note on her windshield at her daughter's new school. It read, "You're next, whore," just like she was. Security footage showed a man in a hoodie, face hidden. He drove away in a green Ford Ranger, the same vehicle linked to one of Derek's former shell companies. This raised one terrifying question. Was Derek really working alone? Back in North Carolina, investigators revisited Derek's encrypted files. In one folder was a blurry photo of a rundown log cabin with a handwritten caption, "Sanctuary if Plan A fails." The address was traced to a foreclosed property in rural Tennessee, never listed publicly. Purchased in cash through a fake LLC over a year prior. Agents executed a search warrant. Inside, they found chains mounted to a bed frame, a camera lens burned in a fire pit, a locked freezer, empty except for a molded leather Bible and a wedding ring that didn't belong to Amber. DNA pulled from the mattress matched a different woman, an unknown female. A deeper search of missing persons cases revealed something disturbing. In late 2022, a 26-year-old woman named Renee Stratton vanished while driving cross-country to start a new job. Her last text was to her mother, "Stop for gas. A man here says he knows a good place to crash for free. Seems safe." Her vehicle was found months later, abandoned near the Tennessee-North Carolina border. The DNA in Derek's final cabin matched Renee's toothbrush. Suddenly, Derek's redemption list wasn't just theory. It was evidence of serial behavior and possible prior murders. And one piece of audio, pulled from Derek's hard drive, sent chills through agents. Amber was the wife. Renee was the experiment. The rest will be sacrifice. Facing a lifetime in prison, Mallory James struck a last-minute plea deal, in exchange revealing everything she knew about Derek's plans, of the victims, and anyone who helped. She confessed that Renee Stratton was indeed real, a woman Derek had met through a spiritual retreat years earlier. Mallory claimed she had never met Renee, but Derek bragged that he broke her faster than Amber. He told Mallory. She screamed for 2 days, then begged to be mine. Mallory also confirmed that 2 other men, both former church brothers of Derek, helped him scout women, clean up properties, and move money through fake religious charities. Warrants were issued. The Holy Man's network was unraveling. In a packed courtroom, Amber Collins faced Mallory for the first time in nearly a year. When asked to speak, Amber stood, took a deep breath, and said, "I trusted you. I fed you. I raised you like my own daughter. And you watched him chain me to a wall and break my body. I will never forgive you, but I will never let you win." Mallory sobbed. The courtroom did not. She was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Amber is now in trauma therapy. She's regained custody of her children. She's written a book and started a foundation for women manipulated by religious abuse and domestic coercion. But in a recent interview, she said, "Some nights, I still hear him. In the walls. In my sleep. I know he's gone, but I also know men like him don't act alone. I believe there are more. And I believe one of them is still out there, watching." And she may be right, because just 6 weeks ago, a woman in Texas reported a suspicious man offering her spiritual cleansing and a private place to rest. His name? James Monroe. The end. Or is it? What are your thoughts on this case? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with more stories, where each case isn't just about crime, but also offers a lesson for life.